What is up, YouTube fam? Robbie C here, and today we're going to talk about, have I picked the right distance drivers for my bag? Are you allowing me my maximum distance, or is the problem just not even me? It's been the arrow the entire time? Are some arrows just better? Before we dive in, we have to ask the most important question of the day. How you doing today, Jeremy? You having a good one?
So catch me if I fall.
All right, so we've teased it a little bit in the introduction. Currently, my distance driver setup is spread across two molds. I have Wraiths and Destroyers that are currently in my bag. Being a little bit basic there, eh, Robbie? Aren't ya? Yes. Yes, I am. But we went and we tried, the last time we did this exercise where we landed on Wraiths and Destroyers, before we headed up to the Discmania challenge, we tried several discs. We tried the Wild Honey, we tried the Crank, I think we tried Forces, just a whole host of different discs. And today, because Foundation continues to get access to just a lot of incredible discs, we've got a few more options for you. So we're gonna find out today, what lines can I throw these discs on maximum lines, and do we have the right distance drivers in our bags? So Vanna, what's behind door number one? That's right, the comparisons. We have the purple Airwolf Athletics Wraith. This is probably the farthest flying disc in my bag. If I want to get similar distance but have a little more reliability and not be too afraid, then we have Shadow. Shadow steps up, does his thing. He is a great little flyer. Got this from old Josh White at Overthrow. And then last but not least, we have Renegon. This is a Star Destroyer. That's an AJ Star Destroyer, is Shadow. This is just like a stock. I think this was like the Ricky Robot run. But those three are pretty representative. I have other Wraiths and Destroyers in my bag, but only two more, and they're just more overstable or kind of live between Shadow and Purple. Now, let's talk about its competitors today, shall we? We have the Trash Panda Procyon. This is I think a pretty good flyer. Really enjoy it. We've used it, we've talked about it, and I think it is most likely to push Wraiths out of the bag. We have the Renegade by Dynamic Discs. This was a disc that was out of production as a driver, very Wraith-like. Very popular back in the day, lost a lot of its luster, and yeah, the Renegade could be really cool. Next up, shout out to my girl, Cadence Burge. We have the Lux Vapor Paradigm. So a little Discmania action coming through. I will say that the one disc that we don't have, DD3s. Because from what I've heard with DD3s, you either get like the old stuff, which is expensive and hard to come across, or you get the new stuff that flies really good for like a brief moment, and then it's just super flippy. Definitely gotta shout out Cadence, let's go. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to attend, I guess at the time these are coming out, I don't know if this will be before or after, but hopefully I'm at USDGC or at Tour Championships, and in which case maybe Cadence and I can run it back. Next we have the Time Lapse by Simon Lizotte. This is funny enough, I have seen other people bag the Time Lapse. I have actually never bagged a Time Lapse. I've rarely thrown a Time Lapse. And so really excited this one came in a care package that arrived today from Foundation Discs. And we have the Scorch. This is the fused Scorch, which has that like built-in, very buzzsaw, the same vibe as the buzzsaw, but it's the flames and it's the Scorch. Scorch is a disc that I think also criminally underrated. Really excited to try and see how it flies. We then have the Captain's Thrasher. I've thrown the Thrasher. We actually did a run of Robbie C stamped Thrashers, but I've never thrown the Captain's Thrasher. So excited to see this one again. The 12502, I've heard that it is, if you like the Thrasher but always want more stability, this is your one. Next up, a disc that we got a proto of. This is the Heist. Once again, very Wraith-like numbers. I think it and the Renegade are gonna compete. This is by Dynamic Discs. And then we head to Gateway. We have the Realm by Gateway, NXT Realm, 12.5-13. Gives the Destroyer a run for its money, at least in the flight numbers. We'll see how it flies. I've heard that some Realms are flippier, some Realms are not. Gonna see how this one flies. And then last but not least, Max Aura from the subscription box. Connor, I want you to dye this disc. So we've got 12 drivers, and I'm just not even gonna be that too scientific about it, ladies and gentlemen. What we're gonna do is we're gonna rip these things out here. We're gonna share some thoughts, and we're gonna see how they fly. But I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is we're gonna try these on a variety of angles. We're gonna try these flat, we're gonna try these on hyzer, and things will get cut along the way. We'll try them on anhyzer. It's a little windy today, so we can't let the results of today be sort of definitive. Officially, you just figure out the discs are not for you. And I highly encourage, do this. You don't have to have an amazing company like Foundation sponsoring you. If you to try this, take a friend's bags, try them out. always be willing to try and experiment with other drivers. So we're gonna go with Renegon first because it is easily the most overstable of the representations in my bag to start. Nose up. But it's out there. You can see shadow, pushes quite a bit straighter, has a little turn to it. Let's go with perp. I threw perp more nose up than I threw shadow, and it still pushed about the same distance. I just didn't get over on it enough. So that's okay, we're gonna learn, see how we're feeling. Let's go trilogy lineup. Let's go with the Renegade. Okay, got over on that one on Anheuser a little bit. Turns out when you throw a somewhat neutral to flippy disc on Anheuser, it goes far. Okay, that one we threw super nosy. You could just tell because it had no turn out of it whatsoever. We hit it probably better than we hit the Renegon. Okay, I felt like we actually went correct on launch angle. Just got a big burst of wind like right at us immediately. Nothing's been eliminated just yet. Oh yeah, that's murdered. That was good. That felt good out of the hand and it went real far. Let's do the Gateway next. Let's try the Realm. Yeah, see, I would say definitely not as overstable as a Destroyer. The Aura, I'm gonna be 100% honest what happened there. The Aura, I feel like when we've seen Foundation throw the Aura, it like is aired on the side of flippy, and so I got really nervous there, so I just fluffed that. Okay. Well, we hit that one the best, we just grip locked it, and it went really far. Captain's Thrasher time. Here we go. Nosy. We got so excited to throw it hard and far. I got nosy. That's fine, that's gonna happen. Nosy again, but definitely not as nosy as the first one. And we're getting pretty good distance out of these. So let's go scoop those up and share our thoughts after the first round. So immediate thoughts were that the time lapse shocked me the most. I definitely got a hold of the time lapse better than I got a hold of anything else. And we ripped it. It was probably 50 feet farther than the next closest disc. This thing, we absolutely hit the boomstick on it. And really cool. Finally, like, have the arm to really embrace the gyro aspect of this, which is something that I've always warned people against throwing MVP drivers, is that when you do not throw an MVP driver well and you don't get that gyro effect going, it just becomes super overstable. But if you get it up to speed, man, it really does get that gyro push that they talk about. Procyon just continues to shock me and wow me with how it wants to fly. Definitely gives my Wraith a run for its money. I feel like just this little bit of dominess on the Wraith, or on this Procyon, actually on a backhand feels really, really good to throw and lets me feel like I can really get into sort of pulling it in for the shot, trying to get some distance, which is really cool. My Wraiths are usually a lot flatter because I like a flatter driver because of a forehand potential, but Procyon on a backhand, really sick. And then I just, like I said, absolutely fluffed this one. I did not give it its justice or its credit. So we're gonna look to fix that. This next angle that we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about throwing these on Anheuser. You're gonna see really fast why I think Anheuser definitely has some potential for bigger distance, but man, does it come at the risk of just messing up horribly when thrown incorrectly. You see, one of the biggest distance questions that I think is out there is this world of, should you throw something more overstable on Anheuser or should you throw something less stable on Heiser flips when you're trying to push those distance thresholds? And to me, it comes down to the error potential, because most often when you're going for maximum distance and you're really trying to push your distance thresholds, we're not talking about sort of trying to drop a pin on a certain spot. We are talking about unleashing this disc, wide open space. I just want to throw it far. For if you are someone and you're trying to gain accuracy, then it comes down to angle preference, I think. If you're someone who likes to throw a little more flat or a little more anhyzer angle, that's one thing. But if you are like me and other folks out there, you like to throw some hyzers, then a hyzer flip is going to be a more consistent shot for you. So for me, I don't end up with a ton of overstable discs in my bag because I like a flippy disc that I can throw on hyzer and get up to ride. The issues with this: one, hyzer flips are really tough in the wind. Two, I think nose angle definitely affects it, and you can be throwing somewhat nose up trying to throw hyzer flips and it won't stand up for you all the time. I think to throw distance and hyzer lines, it's a little easier to commit to them because you're thinking about finishing and pulling through. Obviously you can fluff it, you can release it early, and when you fluff it and release it early, that is way, way, way worse. We're gonna demonstrate it. And as you can see, if you don't get over top of it, it just fluffs out. And that's the shortest shot we've thrown so far because we released it early. But if you happen to get over on it like that, it pushes pretty far. Obviously, when you step up to flippier discs, you have to be careful how much anhyzer you put it on, because it may not have a chance to fight out. That went really far, but it may have actually carried off camera because it never faded. It just kept turning his entire flight. We just threw the Wraith, so we'll throw Trash Pandas. That one we threw a little more nosy because I have thrown the Procyon in comparison to Wraiths, and if the Procyon is left on anhyzer, it does not like to fight out. Let's go Discraft early this time. We're gonna go Captain's Thrasher. And that time, we went nose up again. And you can just see how much the distance is throttled. I mean, I'm 75 feet shorter than the good ones. Not the great one. The great one went way farther, but the good ones. Or you do that where you throw it nose up the entire time. We actually liked that angle of release. Too nosy because you could see that it was like you could read the flight plate the whole way. Let's go with dynamic discs. We're gonna go with the Heist. Another one that I really liked its release angle, but I'm just throwing it a little too nose up. I'm just not getting over on them. Renegade. Well, that one we punched through. Never gave it a chance. Time lapse. Okay, we threw that one nose up and it still carried super far. Is the time lapse going in the bag? My shorts could be in trouble. Let's go Paradigm. If that fights out, it could be amazing. Yep. There you go, Cadence. That's still like 20 feet short of where the time lapse landed, but that's our best throw thus far. It's got to fight out. Yeah, it didn't get the chance to fight out. And max aura time. That's pretty good as well. Okay, let's go see what the distance results were and where we're landing. No, I never promised to be fair about this. And also I showed you guys that, well, I'm pretty trash at that angle, but that angle does show me, in terms of my weaknesses, discs that inconsistent. And you also got to remember that I'm throwing all the way out there. I'm leaving the camera here because I don't want to haul it around. And I have the opportunity to throw them back. So I'm getting quite a few throws. I've thrown several of these sort of off camera, warming up. And so it's time to make some cuts before we head to the forehands. Well, we won't make a ton of cuts. In fact, nah, let's just give them all a chance. But let's see evaluations and what's on the chopping block. Time lapse, definitely in the winners category right now. Destroyer, definitely in the winners category right now. Renegade, I think good, did fine on a backhand, didn't blow my mind on a backhand, and on anhyzer, once it got over, didn't really want a chance to fight out. Scorch, haven't thrown consistently well yet. Really want to, really fantastic feeling disc, but I just have to go. I've thrown these things at least four times, and have struggled with it every time. The Heist I tried at the beginning of the year when we were sent these discs, really enjoyed it. I think the Heist has a ton of potential, but I think that I'm either just hitting it way too hard and getting bad flights out of it, or then I'm like nervous about it, so then I'm hitting it too soft. So it's also on the chopping block. Aura, just because of what it means, winner's block so far. It actually went, I like that second flight really well. This, phenomenal. Obviously, Wraiths, can't be a Crawford and not like Wraiths. The Realm, I really wanted the Realm to be it. I want to support my guy Kevin and Gateway in general, but the Realm just wasn't necessarily it. Obviously, Destroyer and the Procyon, phenomenal flyers. Really enjoying them. So that leaves us with our 3 staples, and then we've got 4 on the winner's block right now trying to compete for a slot. I think this is looking to beat Destroyers out, and then this, we'll see how it does on Forehand, and then could be winners here as well. My worry is plastic availability and stability, but if this is replacing Wraiths, it can fill a certain line of Wraiths, and then maybe it's Wraiths, or maybe it's Procyons, time lapses, and Destroyers. I'm not too sure, but it's forehand time. Let's go ahead and start with the ones that are most on the chopping block. We'll start with the Renegade. Well, that pretty much sums it up there for you. Sorry, Renegade. Try the Realm. See, Realm flies beautifully on a forehand. That's awesome. And there's that heist. You can see that it just picks up and it carries. Has that nice little bit of turn to it. Doesn't really fade back, so if I'm looking for a distance forehand, that could be it. Let's do the thing. Ooh, that's fascinating. No tooling on the inside of the fused line Scorch. Very similar to the heist. Very similar to the heist. Had some automatic turn out of it, and I'm expecting the Captain's Thrasher to fly very similar to the Realm. Oh, nope. Sorry, Missy. You cut. Discs that are currently in my bag. That's just a regular stock Star Destroyer. Realm actually outdrove that. Nice. That's why Shadow has his spot in the back. Laser straight for over 400 feet. Like, I mean, that thing felt like it moved maybe 20 feet left or right. Perp, we got to be a little more touchy with. If Perp comes out of it, she's going to be a beaut. There's one that I don't forehand very often. This that I'm confident would fight for Perp slot is the Aura. Yeah, just a little too flippy. There we got to see it. You could see that I started on hyzer. It stood up immediately and started turning. Unfortunately, Connor, I don't think I'm going to be repping that Max Aura. Paradigm. This is interesting because I know Cadence doesn't throw forehands, especially distance forehands. So let's see how this does. Got a little nervous on it. Started it on hyzer. Still carried a good ways, which was nice. Trash Panda Procyon. I mean, that disc is just so good, dude. Procyon's in the back. Procyon, congratulations, welcome. I don't know that it's pushing out all of my Wraiths, but it's certainly pushing out my seasoned one. Oh, we threw that one nosy. Oh, that was nosy. It was nosy and it still went far. Missing out on the time lapse this whole time, dude. Winners and losers of this video. Well, I don't feel like I need to go over the losers. Kind of did that in the what's on the chopping block and a couple of discs. Tried to make a case there, but didn't necessarily fight back too much. But without a doubt, the biggest winner here is the time lapse. Now I've heard that fission time lapse is super flippy, so I would be curious for those of you that have thrown the regular time lapse compared to the fission time lapse, like, is that one I should give a try in a future video as well? Because that way, time lapse is just taken over. Do we finally have the arm to try them out? Should I go back and try the Mayhem again? The Octane? My mind's racing on these. Maybe that's the next installment of this, is just trying out gyro distance drivers. So I think if I were to like establish what my distance driver lineup looks like, I've got 5 distance drivers in there right now, and I think it would be purple as the flippiest distance driver. I think that the Procyon would be next, and then I would probably put Shadow in there, And then I think that this could give Renegon a run for its money. These three and then a Halo Destroyer on the top side. So it's just 6 distance drivers, and that could be really good. Should I go gyro line next? Is the Fission time lapse where it's at? You guys let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Please make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now, we're gonna leave you with the bird.